Hello!
Hello!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everybody!
Hope you're doing well. Hope you are pleased to be back at school, seeing your friends. Hope you had a really, really great holiday and time off. Got a chance to sleep in lots, I'm sure. Now we're recording this before school actually starts back. And my guess, Barry, is that my children will sleep in on Wednesday morning. They will sleep in on Wednesday morning, having been given the chance to sleep in for the last 2 weeks, and not
Well,
always choosing that, regularly not.
no,
Then I think they'll sleep in.
yeah, well, my two boys, George and Freddie, we're recording this on a Tuesday. They went to school and college, and George slept through his alarm this morning. So we had to wake him up. He wasn't late, but he did sleep through his alarm. Freddie was a little bit later up, but they both got there okay. But yeah, I could have done with staying in a little bit longer. I don't like early mornings.
You
I'm not an
don't, do
early
you?
riser.
I imagine some of the teachers would have probably slept in as well, probably for their inset day on Tuesday. I imagine. I'm sure someone arrived late or like rushed because they suddenly were so used to having had 2 weeks off. How amazing is that?
I wonder what sort of excuses teachers try and come up with, like their dog ate the homework or something. Their dog
The
ate their
car,
planning.
the car wouldn't start.
Yeah, and they actually walk to school.
No, all of our teachers here are brilliant, Barry. I don't know what you mean. None of them would ever say that. But it is great to be back together and great to be able to have our collective worship. It's the first one that we're doing today. It's on a different day. We're doing it for a Thursday rather than a Wednesday. You normally have our
Wednesday,
collective
we normally
worship.
do it. It feels all
Uh,
weird.
it is all weird. And the reason we're doing it for Thursday is that today is a special day. Today is Epiphany.
That's a
And
hard
you all
word
know
to say.
exactly what that is. Everyone knows what Epiphany is. Is that right? Do you know what Epiphany is, Barry?
I do. I do. Do you want me to say?
Not yet.
No, I
Why didn't
won't.
you? You were going to do
Keep
something
it.
else as we begin, weren't you?
Yeah, I've got a story to read. Shall I read the story?
Yeah. Now, have you, Barry, packed up your nativity scene?
I have. Yes, we had. I think we've got two. No, we do have two, but we only had one out this Christmas for some reason. But yeah, we packed all of our Christmas decorations away yesterday, which was Monday,
Same here. We did the same.
in the
And
loft.
I think I had 3 nativity scenes to pack away. And I'm just thinking, who's in the nativity scene? Who would you normally find in a nativity scene?
Oh well, there's baby Jesus.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
the
Yeah.
main person.
The main man. Yeah.
Um,
We'd have,
we've got a donkey in ours.
yeah, because there were, I guess the donkey carried Mary, or Mary sat in the trailer of the donkey or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sheep.
Uh, yeah, because the
Yeah.
shepherds weren't there, and the shepherds, the angels. Oh, there might be an angel.
Oh yeah. Normally the angel normally sits on top of the stable,
Yeah,
doesn't he or she?
he or she next to a star.
Next to a star. Yeah,
So there's a stable, there's a star. Mm, Joseph, he's
of
often in
course.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Joseph, and of course, if you've got Jesus, you've got Joseph, you've got to have Mary.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Mary. So why is no shepherds, sheep, animals,
Star,
stable, star, angel, Joseph,
manger.
Mary, baby Jesus, manger is probably helpful to have him in. Um, and I guess there's some other people, aren't there? There's often if there's a star there, then often we will see the wise men
Yeah, the
and maybe
wise men.
some camels.
Yeah, and there's normally three, isn't there?
There's no, yeah. Why is there 3, Barry?
Well, I've got a story that might help us think about it because there's not actually necessarily three because three wise men or three magi is that were also called because they might have been astronomers. I looked at the stars and followed the stars and saw a new star coming There might not have been 3 of them. There might have been 1 or 2 or 10. We don't know.
And they
But
would
shall I read
probably
it up?
they probably would have had quite a bit of money as well, because the gifts they brought, which we'll find out about in a minute, they were really expensive gifts, not gifts you'd
They,
normally give out.
they were expensive. They were rich people, which probably meant if they were rich people, they probably travelled with servants. So
Yeah,
actually, there could have been hundreds of
there
them
could have
coming
been.
down just to help these few guys who had the gifts.
And they're
And they
often
might
called
have,
kings as well, aren't they? Because they could be wealthy, they could have been kings of areas.
yeah. No, someone I read something the other day actually about that we
Was it
sing
in the Daily Mail again, Barry?
we sing the song "We Three Kings," don't we?
We do.
But someone was saying actually it's quite likely that they weren't kings because you probably had kings from different sort of areas and stuff. Possibly didn't necessarily get on with each other and wouldn't necessarily walk together or travel together. And of course, obviously, they didn't walk with King Herod either, did they? Because he was not a very nice guy.
I know, but it doesn't fit in the song, does it? We can't have "We Three Wise Men."
We three wise men from Orient are one in a taxi, one in a
Taxi, one
car.
in a car, one on a scooter blowing his hooter. Yeah, indeed. Anyway, let's hear the actual story of what happened, Barry.
Okay, so this story is from Bob Hartman's Lion Storyteller Bible, and it's called The Wise Men's Visit. The sky was black, the night was clear, the stars were bright as diamonds. Perfect, said the star watcher, just as it should be. But just then, God nudged the brightest star and sent it floating like a kite across the night sky. Quick, called the star watcher to his friends. Come and see, there's a new star, and that means a new king, said the second star watcher. Somewhere a new king is about to be born. I'll tell you what, said the third star watcher. Let's follow the star and see. So the 3 star watchers climbed onto their camels and set off after the star. When it zigged, they zigged. And when it zagged, they zagged across deserts and mountains and rivers until they reached the land of God's people, the Jews. We have come a long way, said the first star watcher to King Herod. We have followed a remarkable star, added the second star watcher. So can you tell us where the baby is? Asked the third watcher. The baby born King of the Jews? King of the Jews? King of the Jews? King Herod repeated, trying hard not to look upset. Let me speak with my advisors. And so King Herod called a meeting that was not very happy. King of the Jews, the king shouted. King of the Jews? I am the king of the Jews. Yes, your majesty, his advisors mumbled. But God has always promised that one day he would send us a special king. But perhaps he is the one the Star Watchers are looking for. Herod muttered. And where does God say this special king will be born? In Bethlehem, your majesty, the city of David. Send for the Star Watchers, King Herod ordered. I have decided what I shall do. Gentlemen, said the king, the child you seek is somewhere in Bethlehem. Go to him, find him, then come and tell me where he is so that I can visit him too. The king said this with a smile, but his heart was black, black as a night without stars, for he had already determined to kill the child, so no one would take his place as king. But the Star Watchers didn't know that when they left, they didn't know what he would do, but they soon found out, for the same God who had nudged the star visited them in a dream and told them the king's dark plan. So they went to see young Jesus, and they gave him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And then they went straight home with stars in their eyes and God in their hearts.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Barry. It's a really interesting story, isn't it? Especially when you hear King Herod, who was clearly not very happy. He was really worried that he wasn't going to be king anymore if a new king had been born. And so he had already decided he was going to kill Jesus if he found him. And actually, there's some horrendous story that continues on in what Herod does in response when he can't find Jesus in the future.
He had all that power, all that money, and he didn't want to let it go to some.
No, indeed. He did not, did he? But Barry, I've had 5 children, or rather, Ruth and I have had 5 children, and I've never received gold, frankincense, or myrrh. Never.
No.
I wonder if the children could do a better job at choosing gifts. I wonder if maybe you turn to the people near you and you decide for 30 seconds, what gifts would you give to a newborn baby? Oh, it stopped. Oh. What you wouldn't have noticed is while that countdown was on, there's some great music, isn't there, that plays, and Barry and I were just having a little dance to that music. Anyway, I wonder what gifts you came up with. Some of the most amazing gifts we've been given. Things like meals, food to eat when you're really tired, having just had a new baby. Having someone deliver nice, tasty food for you to eat is so, so helpful. So that would have been a great thing. What about you, Barry?
Nappies. We got nappies and little vest suit things.
Yeah,
always useful, because sometimes when the baby comes out, you don't know what size that baby's going to be. They told me and Adele that George and Freddie were going to be like £5, and they were like £8. So we bought little vests and stuff. Didn't fit. So other people. No. And we didn't have time to go out shopping, so other people bought us ones that did fit. Very useful.
Some nappies, vests, those little hats that you always put on babies, and little gloves and shoes. They're really cute.
Yeah,
and they're really good.
Themselves.
Yeah. Sometimes like a blanket you might give them to keep them warm.
Yeah.
Sometimes people give presents like, I don't know, so there's like a cot or a Moses basket or something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere to sleep. But instead, in that story, those wise men or magi or rich people who were very clever and looked at the stars, they brought 3 gifts. They brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They brought gold because, and all of these gifts were really expensive. They wouldn't be normal gifts to give people, but they brought gold because they knew that this baby was going to be a king. And so they bought gold for that reason. Now they brought frankincense, which I have to keep reminding Barry isn't Frankenstein, it's frankincense. It's an actual real thing. And frankincense is something that would have been used when people gathered to worship. So when they were in church or the synagogue, in the temple, when they worshiped, they would burn this incense, and it made a beautiful smell. And frankincense was that thing that made a beautiful smell that they thought would please God, was something you used when someone was really important. You were worshipping someone really important or special. And so they brought that because they knew that Jesus was important and special. And lastly, they brought myrrh. And myrrh is something that is used to cover the smell of dead bodies. So often when people had died in those times, they would wrap them in spices and then bury their bodies because the smell was awful. We didn't have some of the technology we have now. And myrrh would be something that would be used for death. And that's a really strange present to give a new baby. Barry, why do you think they gave them myrrh?
Well, myrrh, I think it came from a prophecy. These guys knew that Jesus was this newborn king and knew that he wasn't necessarily going to be like a king like Herod. He wasn't going to be a horrible, bad king. He was going to be a great king. But they also knew the prophecy of that one day that this king, Jesus, was going to die. They knew this, it had been written for years beforehand. They knew something would happen. So it kind of foretold what would happen in his future.
Wow. So they knew that he was going to die, and that's why they gave it to him. So those were three gifts that were given that symbolizes things about Jesus. He was going to be king, that he was God, and we should worship him. And thirdly, that he would die. And that's what we know, that Jesus died on the cross for us at Easter time. But Epiphany is really important. It's really significant that these people came from far away to worship Jesus. Because initially, when the angels appeared, they appeared to shepherds who were in Israel, those people around Jerusalem where Jesus, or Bethlehem near Jerusalem where Jesus was born. And they were local people, Jewish people, that the angels appeared to. But these wise men were from other lands, other places. And this reminds us, it's in the Bible, and it reminds us that Jesus came for every single one of us, not just shepherds, not just people who live in Bethlehem or in Jerusalem or in Israel, not just for Jewish people, but Jesus came for every single person. And that was really, really important and really significant. And so that's why we remember at Epiphany that Jesus is for all of us. He is the light of the whole world, and he is there for us and with us for every single person, no matter where you're from. So it's a really, really important festival that we remember in the church. And so what we want you to remember this new year, as you enter into a new term, is that Jesus is with you. Jesus is with you, and that he is king, that he is worthy of worship, he's God, and that ultimately he died on the cross to show us that he loves us. Those three gifts remind us of those three things. And if we can remember those three things this term, then I think it's going to be super helpful for us this next term, to remember that we're not alone and that Jesus is with us. Barry, do you think you could pray for us as we finish?
Yeah, I certainly can. Father God, thank you so much that you love us so much, that you loved us so much that you sent your son Jesus to us as a baby. We thank you that he lived among us, and he ultimately died for us because of his love for us, to save us, to rescue us. And at this time, we think of Jesus as a baby around Christmas time, but we know that he grew up for us, and that we can be with him, and we can live our lives knowing that he still loves us, that you still love us, that you're there when we need you, and you're there when we don't feel we need you, but you're always there to walk with us on our journey as we go through our lives, from school and up to next school, and then to as we become adults, that you are there every step of the way. We just thank you for your love for us. Amen.
Amen. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and we'll see you at our normal time on Wednesday next week for our collective worship. So hope to see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.